Hello again, welcome back to the Unloved JDM channel. So we've actually got something a little bit different for you today. Normally, as you know, if you watch the channel regular, we do like car builds and all that kind of stuff. But one of our club members is having issues with his Evo 10. The issue he's got a split in the oil cooler, so it leaks oil as soon as you start it up and it goes absolutely everywhere. So bumper's off at the moment because we recovered it in for him. And I said, we'll have a look. And he's bought I think it's like a universal oil cooler kit for it. We're hoping to get that fitted for him and kind of make it work with the way I want to do it ultimately is to make it work with the holes that are already there. Now, it's come with a sandwich plate like they always do, but because it's an Evo with a standard oil cooler, which is there, they have this obviously standard oil cooler, as I said, and these are the factory lines that go to it, and then go to two banjo bolts that live just above where the oil filter lives. So as you can see, it's all wet there, and as soon as you start it up, it comes out absolutely everywhere. So I don't want to run it any longer than I have to. So what I want to do is, as I said, try and retain these two as much as I can. But the issue is that the oil cooler that we've got, I'll show you in a minute, is going to have to live at the front. It's not going to live there. So obviously we can't use the standard lines, and even if we could, the fittings are different anyway. The kits come with a bunch of like AN fittings, so that's something that we're going to have to explore. But this is the actual cooler that we've got for it, and we're looking to put that sort of centrally there, so to speak. Well, obviously not that way up because we can't put the pipes on it. So sort of centrally there-ish. And then if we do that, we can, as I said, pipe it up to the existing pipes, and I'm going to figure out how to do that. So very first thing I want to do with it, I want to get the actual new cooler mounted up so that we can work out where it's got to run its pipes from once it's actually in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these two and make holes straight in there, obviously, to go into as far as bolts go, and then probably make a hole in the front to put a nut on the top of it to keep it secure and stop it from coming loose or rattling around or anything annoying like that. All right, so I managed to get the oil cooler mounted up. All I've done is just drill straight into there. The nuts is on the top, so we should be able to just use it like that. It's really sturdy, as I said. The nuts are tucked away in there. That's all in there nicely. It looks like it lives there. I think it's in the middle. We'll soon find that out. But that should be that for now. So the next issue I've got to do is I'm going to get an oil bucket, and I'm going to drop the oil cooler down from the car so that we can see what the lines look like and start taking them off of this end and see how we're going to make it work between that and the new one. Right, so unbolted the standard one, that's hanging down there at the moment by its pipes. So to do that, it's quite easy. There's a 12mm nut on there, a 12mm nut hidden just up there, and one 12mm bolt that just goes there, and then pull it that way towards the outside of the car, and it drops down. So there we go, factory oil cooler is off. It has, as I was saying before, two of these little banjo bolts. Well, not so little, these are 24 millimeters, and they are tucked away. It's probably impossible for me to show it, but they're on top of there. You can get quite a fair size ratchet onto it, so it's not difficult to do. So next thing is I'm going to see if I can potentially chop these here on the flexi part and make a fitting to go from there to like an AN10. If not, we'll have to come up with something else. Right, so after a little bit more indecisiveness, I kind of decided this is how I wanted to do it. So obviously, like I said before, mounted centrally in there. We've got the hoses mocked up. The AN10 fittings fit on there really, really nicely. And those run round to there. So what I've done, as long as we can see, is I've cut the two original ones there, and which used to have obviously the banjo fittings on, which is now there. Cut those off, decided that I want it to retain its like original mounting points as far as the oil housing goes, and then all I need to do is get two high pressure fittings made for these two, which is not extremely high pressure, but obviously, as we all know with cars, you do not want to lose oil pressure. So I'm going to get those made, which is actually going to be tomorrow morning for me, but for you it'll be in a few seconds, and do that route. So there we go. As I said before, we've got the little things put on the pipes. So these here are quite intense for this purpose, but they will handle oil pressure perfectly fine. The run screw on there, so you can, there's a little seal in there as well. If you ever want to go back to the standard oil cooler, all I would do is get some of those ends put on the other pipes so you can go back. But for this, it'll be perfectly fine. It'll suit it, and it goes straight to the AN fittings, so we can get it mounted. So let's do that. Right then, so we are all completely back on now, and everything's actually tightened up. So these run quite nicely across there. They were test fitted with the bumper, not an issue. These are all tightened up and nicely fitted into there. A couple of tie wraps just stops everything moving around, but it's all stable. No rubbing issues looking like anything's going to come up. And it's all completely factory under there. As I said before, if you wanted to go back to factory, it'd be quite easy to do that. And the way that I've done it, as I said, what I didn't want to do is put the little sandwich plate in that tends to be the way people do these things, and then blank off the two banjo bolts, because it might cause an issue, it might not, I'm not sure, but I don't like doing it that way. So I've tried to stay the factory route. So next thing is put the bumper back on, make it look like it should, and just make sure everything fits nicely. All right, and so we've got it back together, got the front end back on it, and it all fits in there quite nicely. Filled it with oil, no leaks at all, no issues on this one. On this, the actual oil filter and stuff is quite easy to swap, so no point showing you any of that. It's all self-explanatory, and if you can't do that, you shouldn't be working on them at all. But overall, that sits in there quite nicely. You can't actually see it unless you're looking for it, which is not a bad thing. There's no bright, obvious logo or anything like that on it, so that's pretty good. Right, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you again in the next one.